everybody, I'm Ethan.
And I'm Sean.
And this is another episode of the Vitamin E Show. And today we're talking about alcohol and why it's making you fat. So we all know when you're trying to lose body fat, trying to be a little bit more conscious of your body composition, alcohol is not your friend. But we are aware, life happens, things happen, you're gonna go out and have a drink every now and then. So today we're just gonna kind of try to lay out some pointers on where those calories come from and things you can do to help minimize the fat gain and just kind of get a little bit less damage from those evenings out.
Then we've got football season coming up, huge thing here in the South. May drink a little bit more than usual, so we're also going to shed some light on, how to make that hangover, feel not so terrible the next day.
Right, keep you moving the next day. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoy. Let us know. So we're talking about alcohol and why it's making you fat. The main thing you know about alcohol is that when you drink alcohol, your body treats it as toxic, as poison to the body, because technically that's what it is. And so most metabolic function in the body and everything is shifted towards, all your energy is shifted toward ridding the body of that toxin so that you don't die. So it's very important that that happens. However, when that happens, your fat metabolism is going to drop tremendously. Most studies point to about 70 to 80% reduction in fat metabolism, and that's in fit individuals that work out fairly regularly and eat a nice well-rounded diet 90% of the time. So if you're someone who doesn't work out that regularly, or your diet is already a little bit off point of where it should be, those numbers will probably be even worse for you. So you have to take that in consideration. But basically, your body is going to use the calories from the alcohol before it uses anything else that you're consuming for energy. It's a very low nutrient calorie, but they do have calories. So 1 gram of alcohol has 7 calories. So people say alcohol is empty calories. Well, there's really no such thing as an empty calorie. It's just that what they're saying is that doesn't provide any value to the body. So you're not it's not like you're eating vegetables or chicken and you're benefiting from what you're eating. They're just simply empty calories your body's going to use for fuel over anything else. So generally speaking, that's why, in a nutshell, you're going to be in a state where you tend to gain more body fat. A really easy way to help minimize that is, when you're going to go drink, if you wouldn't eat about 2 to 3 hours beforehand, so that all of the digestion process is, for the most part done. You don't have any food sitting in your stomach. Number one, you're gonna get buzzing a little bit faster. So hopefully that slows your consumption down. And then add in a drink of water in between your drinks. I'm always the water Nazi when I go out. I'm like, hey, it's time round of waters, So just add in that glass of water between each drink, and try not to eat coming into it, and preferably don't eat while you're there either. There are some things we'll dive into a little bit later that you could eat that could help with hangover problems and things like that. But we're gonna dive into really quick some of our common options when you go out and drink, whether you're at home, whether you go to a restaurant, or go to a bar, just kind of what most people drink and kind of how many calories you're consuming and everything there. So take it away.
So, generally, in your standard beers, you're gonna have anywhere from about 90 to 140 calories per 12-ounce serving. That's gonna be a bottle can size. So
it's a light beer. He said standard, but it's really light.
Yeah. So your light beer is close to that 90, 100 calorie mark there. Start getting your standard beers, again, per 12 ounces, very important. But start getting to your other standard beers, just like general lagers, stouts, whatever it is. You're looking about 120 to 140. Some examples Bud Light, Yingling, some popular ones are going to be about 115, 120 there.
Blue Moon.
Blue Moon. And then you get to some of your heavier, hoppier ones, some of your IPAs, for example, I know good people like Snake Handler. A very heavy beer, but that's got about 240 calories per 12-ounce serving there. So
it's also because the alcohol content in that drink's 10%, right?
Yep.
So it's a lot higher. You have to look at alcohol content in those drinks as well. So like you said, some of those heavier beers start picking up extra calories real quick.
And then when it comes to like shots, generally any kind of liquor that you're going to have, whether it be clear, brown, whatever, you're looking at about 120 calories. That's in a 1.5 ounce serving.
Which is supposed to be a shot, but I know most places I go, I can tell they have over poured. It's probably more like 2.5 to 3 in the drink. So these are your basics, but then you also have like mixed drinks. So if you're someone who likes cocktails, mixed drinks, that's a whole other ball game. Even so, I know for instance, I like gin and tonic, and people think that it's a good healthy drink. Sure, if it's diet tonic, but like a gin and tonic is going to be 1.5 gin, and it's going to be filled the rest of the way up with tonic, which is generally going to be about 4 ounces. And in that 4 ounce serving tonic, you have about 27 grams of sugar. So, like your calories add up really, really fast in your cocktails. There is such a big range. We didn't throw that up here, but some places we looked up their drink and their menu items, and different margaritas range from 400, 500, 600, all the way up to, we saw some around 800 calories. It really depends on the bartender, what they're mixing it with, how heavy they're pouring, all that kind of things. But generally speaking, you probably are going to want to stay away from mixed drinks. Either drink your liquor straight or stick with beer or wine. That's something we did not put up here, just because it's not as common. But your average glass of like a red wine only has about 3 to 4 grams of carbs in it, like a Cabernet or Malbec, and you're looking at about 170, 180 calories. So they usually run somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 to 14% on alcohol content.
I believe that's a 5 ounce serving.
5 ounce serving, right? 5 ounce serving, which should be a standard pour. You can usually get them at 5 or 9. But red wine also has some health benefits and other things too. So that's my go-to, be my recommendation. But generally speaking, stick to those. Stay away from the mixed drinks altogether, if possible. And if you do, try to ask the bartender for diet. So if it's a club soda, a diet club soda. If it's just try to get your mixers replaced with a diet or sugar-free option if available, and that will greatly reduce the calories.
I was going to say, and again, these are 12 ounce serving sizes. So just pointing that out, because unless you're getting like a bottle, you go to somewhere you're having draft beers,
It's going to be at least 16.
Yeah, 16 or 22 ounce servings.
Yeah.
So
if you get the big one, which most of us do, it's going to be the 22 ounce. So that jumps this number. So let's go with a standard beer. Let's not go with a light beer. So let's go with a Yingling is 118 calories. This is my beer of choice. So at 118 calories at 12 ounces, jump that up to a 16 ounce beer, and then that's going to jump that to about 170 calories, 160 calories, 160 calories, and you bump that up to a 22 ounce, and now we're looking at right at 200 calories. I know that I could easily drink 3 or 4 of those in a sitting at a bar, those 22 ounce beers over the course of watching a game or something, and that's 800 calories if I drink 4 of those. 800 calories of useless calories, absolutely nothing. The other layer of this is caloric consumption. So keep in mind, again, back to the beginning, alcohol is gonna lower your metabolic function, so you're not gonna be able to process the foods you're eating as well, and all activity in the body will shut down until the toxin is removed from the body. But even after the toxin's been removed and you're processing alcohol as energy, all the other nutrients still take a back burner to that alcohol. But then you have the other layer, and that's food. And most of the time when we eat and we're drinking, it's not chicken and veggies or whatever. We're eating more comfort foods, more carbs, more like burgers or chips and dip or fries and pizza and things like that, generally speaking. And those are all very, very calorically dense, so you're going to rack up the calories really quick. So just like your average burger and fries, if you were to go out and order a burger and fry, eat a decent size, it's going to be in the neighborhood of 1,000 calories real quick. Mostly fats and carbs, and very low in protein compared to the rest of the macronutrients. So you're looking at, let's just say, for math purposes, let's say we get to the bar. Me and Sean are going out. We're gonna have a drink. We're gonna watch the very first Cowboys game. Go Cowboys. We're gonna have a shot and kick things off. Okay, so doesn't matter. Let's go with 120 calories. So we're gonna have a shot. Bam. Then we're gonna order beer, because who drinks shot without having something to chase it with? So we both got a 22 ounce Yingling sitting in front of us. Okay, and that's 200 calories. And then we say, it'd be nice to have something to snack on, like, been good today, I've eaten pretty good today. I worked out today. We can have a little snack. So we order some chips and you like cheese dip?
Oh yeah.
All right, so we order some chips and cheese dip. That's a tough one. Your average amount of chips, you're looking somewhere around the neighborhood of 200 calories, and then your cheese, let's just 200 would be conservative for each of us. So for a single person, let's add in 400 calories for that little snack. Cool. Then, we're out of beer, and the game's still going, so it's another beer, 100. It's the Cowboys, so we're probably losing. We're getting frustrated in the fourth quarter, so we order another round of shots. And at this point, I'm starting to feel a little bit. Inhibition drops, start making poor decisions with what we're putting in our body, and then we decide to order the burger, okay? So, it's 1,000 calories. And once you know, we're out of beer, washing down all those fries, so another beer. So, you want to do that math for me? You got your phone on? I guess I can do it in my head, but hadn't had enough coffee in the day so far. It's 400, 200.
That's
2,200 calories. And that is for 2 shots, 3 beers, 1 snack, and 1 meal out of the standard bar, pub, any type of place you're gonna go. And just so you know, because I know some of you are probably looking at this right now, well, I don't drink that much. The average alcohol consumption in the first 2 hours of getting out somewhere and you go with a friend is generally 3 drinks for the first 2 hours and then 1 drink every hour thereafter. So if we're watching a football game and we're there for 3 hours, that's gonna be an average of 5 drinks. We don't drink a lot, so this is a pretty fair assessment. But someone who may drink more, you like to drink, you just like beer, that could rack up really fast. Some people order the smaller beer and get like the 16 ounce, a shorter pour, in order to like try to conserve calories, but then end up drinking several more and the calories do not equal out. So, keeping in mind how fast those calories rack up is going to be really, really key, because 2240 is more than most of you watching this video probably should be eating in an entire day. And if you're going to a bar, you probably didn't work out, so even more so, way too many calories. If you ate anything at all that day, you are over your caloric consumption. Calories in versus calories out matter, and you're going to put on body fat. You're more likely to put on body fat in a state when alcohol is present, just because fat metabolism in the body is almost shut down, non-existent. So, racks up really fast, but the good way to slow yourself down is in between every drink, always have a glass of water. When you get the snacks, we're about to talk about how you can kind of a little bit of hangover prevention. So we're going to show you some better snacks you can get. And then always, don't ever go with the meal. Just don't do it. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say some of the reasons for that.
Sure.
So forgive me with the actual part of it, what happens, but when the alcohol there, like you said, that's going to slow that fat metabolism immediately. That takes effect immediately, and then when you add that food in there, that effect isn't going to kick in until later on. So that's just basically doubling that time, really extending that time.
Yeah.
As far as all of time that you're not metabolizing that fat properly.
And carbohydrates ingested also slow fat metabolism because it elevates insulin. So it's a combination of things. And then what we said earlier, when you eat this food, it's just going to be sitting on the back burner until your body processes that alcohol. So until you get done processing that, and if you drink a lot and then you go to bed, you're going to store body fat. It's just how it's going to happen every time. So let's break a couple misconceptions. Number one, if you do not eat prior to going out, a lot of people think that's going to make the hangover worse. Wrong. Not true. leading up to you going out to have a few drinks, it would be a good idea to not eat within 2 to 3 hours when you're going to go out. Again, like I said earlier, it's going to help the alcohol hit a little bit faster, so you'll be feeling a little faster, and hopefully slow your roll a little bit.
Because that's not going to, dull the effect of the alcohol.
It's
That
going to
just
amplify it.
delays it also.
Yeah, when you eat it and you say that like, oh, I can drink more when I eat, like he said, it's not true. It's just going to hit you later.
You end up drinking more.
Yeah, and then you end up it hitting you really hard, and that's when hangovers start happening because you don't realize how much you drink. So it will hit you faster if you have nothing on your stomach. The other layer of that is it just really comes down to if you really, really, really want to cut body fat, sacrifices are going to have to be made. So either one, go out and have the food and don't drink, or if you want to drink, then go out and drink and don't have the food. Like it really is that simple. I know people are gonna say, well, that's crazy, I'm not gonna do that. Well, then you're going to put on body fat. Like there's nothing you can do to stop that from happening, consuming that amount of food, that amount of calories really quick with all those calories and alcohol in your system as well. It's just not anything you can do. Now, move on from that into hangover prevention, which I know is a second part of going out to drink. The next day you wake up, you feel like crap, and then you end up going and eating more crap. So, what's the good hangover foods? Everyone wants to go have like pancakes and hash browns and carby foods, and I'm going to soak up the alcohol. It does not work that way. You just have to process it out, and there's nothing you're going to put in your body that's going to make it any better. Food in general does make it better, but chicken's going to have the same result as a waffle. Probably actually better result because your body's going to feel better getting some solid nutrients in there. But a good way to avoid that, because that second day after your night out is a big time where people amplify the effects. They feel like, oh, I killed it last night, I might as well go ahead and drink. I went out on Saturday night, it's Sunday, I'll start back Monday. Don't do that. Don't do that. Get right back on it Sunday. But a good way to keep that from happening, like we said, all a hangover is extended dehydration. That is all a hangover is. When you wake up in the morning and you feel like crap, it is extended dehydration. So there's a couple things you need to do. Number one, water. But just drinking water will not fix it. Alcohol dehydrates you very fast, pulls the water right out, and you're just gonna be pissing it all out, okay? So potassium and sodium are two things that are very, very powerful in the body at helping you retain water. So, and this is not really that great for body composition, but chips with added salt in guac is like the best possible thing you can eat. So if you're going to drink a good bit and you're trying to follow the recommendation of not eating, order yourself some guacamole, and I mean eat the whole thing yourself, and put a lot of salt in it, and a lot of salt on the chips that you're using. Try to get bigger scoops of guacamole, use less chips, get more of your calories in from the guacamole. You're gonna be more nutrient dense anyway, versus the chips. So that the potassium, avocados are 10 times more dense in potassium than bananas, which is what a lot of people think they're going to do. Bananas also come with a lot of extra sugar, whereas avocados don't. It's just proteins and fat. And then the salt is going to provide the sodium. So those two things combined with a glass of water in between every drink, and then water after, you'll wake up the next day and feel most likely fine, as long as you drink plenty of water and you didn't absolutely crush it. There's nothing I can tell you that's going to fix a whole bottle of vodka, but as long as it's within reason, you will feel fine the next day, relatively speaking, and you'll be able to get back on your normal routine, keep your diet going, and hit the gym. So, well guys, that's about it. Just keep that in mind. Just be conscious of how many calories you're consuming when you're going out and drinking. Be conscious of what's happening in the body. Think about it. Know that anything that you eat, no matter how healthy it's going to be more likely stored as body fat the more alcohol you ingest. So keep that in mind, guys, and we will see you next week.